Alrighty, friends. Let's go ahead and begin our practice. I'm going to invite the chime to sing, and then I'm going to share with you a sentiment of metta, loving kindness, and then we'll drop right into our meditation and practice. Welcome, everyone. This is Recovery Dharma in the Spokane Sangha. And we do things a little bit differently. For each month, we take a theme and we take it for a very deep dive. For the month of May, we have been exploring boundaries and using Buddhist principles like the 4 foundations of mindfulness or the 4 limitless qualities of loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. We have been exploring all of the ways that we can begin to cultivate and develop healthy boundaries in new, creative, and beautiful ways. The intention for having healthy boundaries is to keep ourselves in the spaciousness of integrity, as well as promoting integrity and encouraging integrity in others. So we'll set the intention for our practice and reflection today with this sentiment of metta. May you not deny the purity of your heart. May you not deny the purity of your heart. I invite you to find a posture in the body that feels at ease. This could be maintaining a seated posture, noble, soft belly, straight back. This could also be a posture where you're lying down. Maybe the body needs some rest. This could also be a posture of standing, even moving, if stillness is not available to you today for your practice. Take notice of what your mind needs. Take notice of what your body needs. Take notice of your mood and your emotional landscape. Take notice if there are any stories beginning to emerge. And then using the vehicle of breath, just bring your gaze inward, bring your gaze to the center of the body, grounding the experience with spaciousness and ease. As we conclude our month-long practice and exploration of boundaries, the Bala Clohe, which is Gaelic for stone wall, I want you to imagine yourself surrounded by beautiful, low-lying stone walls. These are borders, these are places of pause, these are ways that we can look at our habit energy. The moment we encounter a stone wall, we have this opportunity to stop the momentum of habitual behaviors and look up and out at what's happening around us. What are the conditions stirring our habits in mind or body? In your space that is surrounded by these beautiful stone walls, you have something in your pocket that is priceless and can be a source of motivation for everything you do for the rest of your life. It's called the 3 jewels. You have in your pocket a Buddha nature. The Buddha, as far as we know, was a real human being whose claim to fame was his capacity to awaken to the conditions of suffering, his and that of the entire world. You also have a Buddha nature, which means you can awaken to the conditions and causes of your own misery. The second jewel you have in your pocket are the teachings of the Buddha and the many, many, many teachers that were inspired by his awakening. For thousands of years, the Buddha's teachings have taken shape, have taken form, have been adapted and adopted in different cultures all over the world. You are invited to practice these teachings and observe how they live and are alive in you. And this is a beautiful reminder that you have natural intelligence. You have a natural capacity to be curious and friendly. You have everything you need to understand what causes you to suffer, as well as what creates the conditions for your own healing. You have been born endowed with this wisdom. These teachings are here to remind you of that. The third jewel in your pocket is the Sangha, the community. All those people around you, as you look out the borders of your balaclava and you see other individuals all around the landscape, each of them bordered by their own balaclavas, by their own sacred spaces. That's the community. That's the Sangha. And all of these people inspire, are sources of inspiration for our practice. There are people that we encounter that stir things that really make us feel good. They bring happiness and peace. They really motivate us to keep going. There's so much encouragement there. And there are also people on the opposite end of the spectrum where they stir up all those feelings of avoidance. And, ew, I don't want to play with skunks and snakes. And that's what those people are for me. Ugh. And look at that. Would you look at that? What's that all about? And so with those types of people, we have different boundaries, maybe taller boundaries, maybe thicker boundaries. Maybe we don't engage them in the same way, but nevertheless, our response to them and our reactions to them are wonderful opportunities to self-reflect. And the self-reflection is entirely motivated by becoming someone who produces less harm in the world. That is the main motivation. To remember the purity of heart, so that rather than perpetuating harm and violence, we become vehicles and instruments of peace. Today, we are going to bring forward, and I'd like you to bring forward someone on the other side of a wall who is a Kalyana Mitra, a wise friend. In the world of recovery, particularly traditional programs of recovery, there is a great deal of emphasis of finding a sponsor or a mentor, somebody who has a little bit more experience on the journey of recovery. And this is a beautiful, beautiful thing. However, not everybody who's been on the journey of recovery has access to wisdom. So we have to be very careful about who we are engaging, who we are entrusting as a guide. The same is true in these Buddhist practices. In Recovery Dharma, it's called mentorship. In the Buddhist tradition, mentorship and that kind of relationship, in the absence of a single teacher, is done in small groups. To always be around like-minded practitioners, one or two, usually two, maybe even three, where you can bounce ideas, reflect for one another, trust one another that they will share with you perspectives that are determined to be inspiring, encouraging. These are people who can point out your blind spots without making you feel shamed, without making you feel guilty, without making you feel diminished, because their method of practice and your relationship to them creates that condition. Even when somebody's reflecting something hard, even when you feel feelings of shame, it's so quick to realize, oh, that's my work. This person has my back. They are my Kalyana Mitra. They are reflecting something difficult for me to see. I feel bad about it. That feeling is mine. We are all invited to be each other's Kalyana Mitra. The whole community can serve in that capacity. But what we have to do in order to be a solid wise friend is a practice that I like to call spiritual Windexing. The human condition is often an experience of projecting thoughts, feelings, stories. We project them out and at other people. Oftentimes it comes in the form of blame. Spiritual Windexing is about recognizing that we are for each other a screen. And we can invite people to project blame. We let them project praise all the time and we have no issue with it. But the moment they project blame, the moment they start pointing a finger at us, making us responsible for what isn't ours, maybe, we get upset. It's such a wonderful place to practice. So, the spiritual Windexing practice is the capacity that you have to look at all of that. Look at what's stirring up for you and heal it, clean up your screen. So that the person on the other side of the balaclohe who's projecting praise or blame is actually looking at a mirrored screen. They're looking at themselves. So every bit of praise that somebody offers you, if that person's paying attention and if your screen is nice and clean, they'll be able to see themselves and see the praise that they too are deserving of. Contrariwise, if they project anything negative, and if it's very clear to you that it has nothing to do with you, you have a clean screen upon which to reflect back to them that shows them, ooh, I'm projecting something that's actually mine. It's wonderful to be able to mirror for somebody something pure, a pure reflection, a still, natural mountain lake, and to be present to them should there be any disruption, any ripples, any disturbance. The mentor, the Kalyana Mitra, is one engaged in the practice of bearing witness, staying present, maintaining healthy boundaries, to allow people space and their own space to figure it out, to engage their innate wisdom, their innate Buddha nature, to discover the conditions of their own suffering and discontentment. It is a profound practice, and it's a beautiful thing to establish with each other. It requires trust and kindness, resilience and patience, joy and compassion. So many qualities you possess, I possess, that are waiting, just waiting to be nurtured. So let's end our practice today nurturing these qualities by simply breathing together for a few moments of silence.